So, verse 13. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in rage and fury, because he represents the beast, rage itself, gave the command to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So they brought these men before the king. That is the moment when one will be taken and one will be left. They brought these men before the king because they were taken from wherever they were at. And just because of that, I'll go to Luke for a moment. Luke 17, because this is a huge issue with the Christian doctrine. And I know certain people may think that I just have an issue with Christianity or Christians, but that's not the case. It's the doctrine that bothers me, because it is taking a lot of people down a wrong path. In Luke 17, let me see, where will I start reading? Well, yeah, I will read real fast from verse 22, and I will try to explain it so that you get what I'm trying to say. Then he said to the disciples, the days will come when you will desire to see one of the days of the Son of Man, and you will not see it. And they will say to you, look here or look there. This, look here or look there, is the moment when the abomination of desolation will appear, here or there, through the Project Blue Beam. So, and they will say to you, look here or look there. Do not go after them or follow them, to go and worship that image of the false Messiah that will appear. For as the light, this is an issue with this translation. I will read it as it is here, because in most translations, well, most common translations, it will appear this way, but then I will explain how that is wrong. For as the lightning that flashes out of one part under heaven shines to the other part under heaven, so also the Son of Man will be in his day. Day here is key, because when you read the same event that Yahushua is talking about here in Matthew 24 and Mark 13, you see that it says, like the lightning that goes from the east to the west. And as we know, lightning does not go from east to west. It just goes from wherever it hits to all parts, all directions, from that center where the lightning falls. So when you go to the concordance, what they translate as lightning is actually splendor, a light, but not of thunder necessarily. So that's why it says, like a light that comes from the east and goes to the west. The only light that follows that order, that direction, is the light of the sun. That's why it says the Son of Man in his day. In his day, because he comes, as it says in Malachi 4:2, he comes as the Son of Righteousness, the Son of Righteousness. That's why he comes as the light that comes from the east and goes all the way to the west, because Yahweh said that just as he manifested in the east, he would do in the west, so that the whole world would know that the name of Yahweh is Yahweh instead of all the falsehood that people invoke and worship. So just here there is an issue. They write lightning. Why? Because Yahushua said that he saw Satan fall like lightning. So now they switch the manifestation of the Son of Man, which is the light of the sun, the Son of Righteousness. They switched it with lightning, so that they only think as a moment. So they connect this with the blink of an eye. So they say that this is the harvest, the rapture, but it's not the case. They are confusing things because of wrong translations. So, for as the lightning that flashes out of one part under heaven shines to the other part, that is from the east to the west. So it should say, for as the light that comes out of one part under heaven and shines to the other part under heaven, so also the Son of Man will be in his day. But first he must suffer many things and be rejected by this generation, both Yahushua's generation and this generation, because Yahushua's generation rejected him and John the Baptist. This generation will reject the two witnesses of Revelation 11 before everything happens. That's why Yahushua said this in this exact moment. Then it says, and as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be also in the days of the Son of Man. So Noah was preaching on earth, building an ark. That's what the last will do. The witness like Moshe, as Noah, will be preaching that the end is coming, but people won't hear him. So then he will enter with his family, the 144,000, into the ark, which is the prepared place of Revelation 12. and the end will come. So, and as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be also in the days of the Son of Man. They ate, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark and the flood came and destroyed them all. They won't know, even though there are so many signs, people don't see them or see them but ignore them because they are afraid of what is coming. Likewise, as it was also in the days of Lot. Lot represents the chosen few. His wife represents the many. Lot was in Sodom and Gomorrah when two Malachim came, entered Sodom and Gomorrah, grabbed him and took him out of Sodom and Gomorrah and then destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Those two Malachim represented two witnesses who come to give the true doctrine to the chosen few, who go behind them to save their lives in the second Exodus. But Lot's wife is as the many who won't listen to the two witnesses, so they will have to die as she became salt. So, but it says, likewise, as it was also in the days of Lot, they ate, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they built. But on the day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. So just like water destroyed the whole earth in the time of Noah, now it will be with fire. So like Noah, the whole world, but like Lot, with fire. Noah, one man preaching. Lot, two men came for the chosen, the two witnesses. So, even so will it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. So check it out. And I chose Luke because when it comes to this part that I'm about to explain, it is the one that is written in the simplest way to explain this point that I'm about to explain. But this is also found in Matthew if you read it carefully, and in Mark 13. So in that day, what day? When they say the Messiah is here, the Messiah is there, and Yahushua said, do not go there. So now he's saying, in that day, when they say that the Messiah has appeared in the sky, in Israel, in the clouds, whatever, in that day, he who is on the housetop and his goods are in the house, let him not come down to take them away. And likewise, the one who is in the field, let him not turn back, meaning go away like Lot did. Do not even go back to get anything. Yahweh will take care of you. That going back to get your sweater or whatever could become the moment when they will come and get you. So just go away. Do not turn back, like Lot's wife. So it says, and likewise, the one who is in the field, let him not turn back. Remember Lot's wife. Remember what happened to Lot's wife. She turned back and she died. Whoever seeks to save his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life will preserve it. Which is amazing when we connect it to what the world is living right now with the coronavirus. A lot of people are so afraid of the corona. They are not living like they used to. So they are trying to save their lives, fearing death, Satan, the virus, what the news say, instead of fearing Yahweh. So people are looking to save their lives, and because of that are listening to the government, who will end up giving them the mark of the beast. So he who tries to save his life according to what the system tells them will lose it. But he who gives his life according to what the system is saying will gain it. So whoever seeks to save his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life will preserve it. I tell you, in that night, what night? The night of the day when the chosen few fled. So the chosen few fled without looking back, like Lot. And that moment, later on, the army of the beast will come looking for them, as it did for the three friends of Daniel. So Daniel represents the one who fled. The three friends of Daniel represent those who didn't flee. So it says, I tell you, in that night, there will be two men in one bed. One will be taken and the other one will be left. So Christians just use this verse and say that's the rapture. But what happened with the person who left and actually listened to Yahushua? This person who is being taken because he didn't listen to Yahushua, because he didn't do what Lot did. So it is a bad thing that they are taken. Just in the context, as we have been seeing it, we can see that it is bad. But for some reason, Christians teach that this is the best part, because they will be taken to heaven. And that is not the case. Whoever, it says, I tell you, in that night there will be two men in one bed. One will be taken and the other will be left. Two women will be grinding together. The one will be taken and the other left. Two men will be in the field. The one will be taken and the other left. So there were three in the field. There were three in the house. One fled, two were left. One fled, two were left. When those two were left, somebody came, took one, and left the other. So those who fled, listen to Yahushua, they are fine. Those who were left are in the worst case scenario because they accepted the mark of the beast. But then there is one who was taken. And that's why the disciples asked about this. And they say, verse 37, and they answered and said to him, where, sovereign? Where will they be taken? Because the one that fled is fine. The one that was left is basically condemned. But what happened with those who are taken? So they asked him, where, sovereign? So he said to them, wherever the dead body is, and you can see it in case your translation doesn't say dead body, you can see in Matthew 24 that it says dead body, or you can look in the concordance that it is talking about a dead body. So he said to them, wherever the dead body is, there the vultures will be gathered together. When we read it like that, we understand. So they will be killed, and their dead bodies, because they will be many, will attract the vultures of the heavens. So when you see a bunch of vultures, that's where their bodies will be. That's what Yahushua is saying. Depending on the translation, it may say eagles, because they are cousins of the vultures. But as we know, eagles don't eat carcasses. Those are the vultures. If you go to the concordance, you will see that it should say vultures, just like it should say dead bodies, where it says just bodies. So the fact that it doesn't say vultures, it says eagles. The fact that it doesn't say in certain translations dead body, it just says body. Christians believe that it's talking about the body of the church, who will be given wings of eagles. So that's how they connected the body and the eagles. Because in Revelation 12 we see that the chosen few who fled are given the wings of the eagle to go away from the presence of the serpent into their prepared place. So they confuse several interpretations, several verses, and come up with the rapture interpretation, which is completely wrong, as we just saw.